Rare dies in Hypixel Skyblock can sell for billions and billions of coins. Realistically, there's two ways that you can drop a really rare die. One of the ways would be a calculated grind for hours and hours up on end, and the other way is to benefit from ungodly RNG. For others who don't really want a chance to look grinding for hundreds and hundreds of hours up on end, just maybe to get one of these dies, then you can just pay to win, even though it's not paying to win, it's paying for cosmetics with actual in-game currency. You can just buy off the AH. Or for more expensive dies, you can literally just trade them with the player in trade menus. How about potentially getting one of these really expensive dies for a fraction of the price? Once again, I guess benefiting from great RNG. Well, interestingly enough, the last bone die sold on the AH was 450 million coins. Me and a couple of other people noticed this in a call a few days ago. Okay, so this die sold for 450 million coins 3 days ago. Looking at the all-time, I guess, average sell price of this bone die, it doesn't really do it justice to how much it's now really worth. Someone did an oopsie and listed it for 400 mil. Someone even did an oopsie and listed it for 500 coins at some point, which is pretty interesting. But you can see on the AH it sold for almost 2 billion coins, and this die, from as far as I'm aware, is valued at around about 4 to 5 billion coins at the moment. So that just got me a little bit intrigued when I saw this sale here, and I thought, well, who's the person that sold this, and I guess who is that lucky person who bought it? Now, it seems that a very lucky player by the name of Techie Bicycle 373 dropped this die, and quite obviously was not aware of the price of it. The net worth is 476 mil, and 450 of that they got from the bone die that they sold. Kind of makes sense, seeing there wasn't any other bone dies listed on the AH, so I guess it was just a guess. It is sad to see like a new player who could have really benefited from the 5 or 6 billion coins, however much he could sell it for, only ended up with 450 mil. Now, for those of you who don't know, the bone die has a 1 in 3 million chance to drop from most skeleton type mobs in the game. I don't know where this was dropped or of which mob it was dropped from, but yeah, that's how it was dropped. But that made me pretty curious, okay? I feel really bad for the person that sold it. 450 mil probably seems like a lot of coins to them, but for what they could have got for it, yeah, it's kind of quite sad. And yeah, there was not really much consideration. They dropped the die at 1:54 PM and sold it at 3:08, so they took about an hour and 12 minutes to consider their options. Until Salem Slayer bought it. This is where it gets interesting. Now, I've been going over this auction history for maybe 20 minutes now, and honestly, it's still as confusing as when I first looked at it. But before we go any further, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. You should also subscribe to the channel. If you watch the videos and you haven't subscribed, please make sure to do so. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer slayers and dungeon carries, so if you need carries or want to carry and make some coins, make sure to join. So anyway, yeah, back to the user who bought this item. And here is the purchase of the bone die. And funnily enough, they still actually have it in their inventory. It's almost as if they've bought it and it's literally gone straight into the first slot of their inventory, and they've not moved it at all. This got me a little bit curious, because if I just bought like a 5 billion coin item for 450 mil, I would be trying to sell that as quickly as possible, cash in on those billions of coins profit. Now, this caused me to look into their profile a little bit more. The Skyblock level 70, they have a net worth of 1.7 billion coins. Yeah, which is fine. They could just be, you know, auction house flipping. You don't... I mean, there's people out there that don't really play the game other than to AH flipping, because that's what they enjoy doing, and that's fine. The profile has virtually nothing. And if we look at their auctions, they've got just over 36.2 billion coins spent, and just over 39 billion coins in return. Now, bearing in mind the net worth is 1.7 bill, and the die is being calculated at 683 mil on Skycrypt. That means that he only really has just over 1 billion coins in net worth, and 800 mil of those are in his purse. Which means even if he has made over 3 billion coins from the auction house, minus the 600 mil that we've got from his die, that means that there should still be, you know, at least like, what, 2.4 billion coins somewhere, and there's just not. This could still be an explanation. You can still, like, trade things to people, give things away, do whatever you want. But to be honest, his auction house history is really confusing. Let me tell you what I mean. For instance, they bought this advanced gardening hoe for 50 mil. If we click into it, we can see it's got, you know, all the farming sort of enchantments on there. So yeah, he bought it 19 hours ago. So you might think, oh yeah, you know, it's just a meme or whatever. Fair enough, yeah. But then why is it that 19 hours he's trying to sell it for a 1 million coin loss? Initially it was attempted to be sold for a 5 mil profit, but you know, no one's ever going to buy that. And like here, they bought this level 1 lion pet for 18 million coins. This was around about 4 hours ago. That'd be close to 5 hours ago. And then it was initially listed for 16.5 mil, which didn't sell because I guess this is above market value. And then it eventually sold for 15.2 when it was relisted again. It just doesn't make any sense why you would buy, if you're hate flipping, why you would buy an item for 19 mil, which is so easy to price like a lion pet at level 1, and then end up losing 5 mil. Just doesn't make any sense at all. Another one here where he bought a tarantula helmet for 10 million coins. Tried to resell it for 18.3 mil, however ended the listing. This was literally like 4 minutes ago. It will never sell for this price. It's a massive overpay at 10 mil. But interestingly enough, I'm on his island, and he's been stood in this exact position with this Fermento helmet in his hand for way over an hour. I can imagine probably a lot longer than that, but I've just not been on his island for that long. But I've been here for a good while, in between recording the clips, just seeing what he's doing, and he's doing nothing at all. I've tried typing in the chat to him, and he doesn't respond. And yeah, earlier as well, he listed something, or he cancelled something, or he did something on the auction house where he was definitely active, and he just didn't respond in chat. I think it's just a little bit strange. I could literally be flossing in front of him right now, and he wouldn't even bat an eyelid because dude is not here. Now, something that I find really strange is, I mean, he's done this with quite a few of his items, but this in specific, if we take a look at this Crimson chestplate, for instance, the auction was created at 12:05 AM, just past midnight, which is almost an hour ago. However, if we take a look at the same Crimson chestplate right here, the end of auction is in 5 minutes, which will make it so that he's listed these items for an hour. It's going to be the same with these items too. He's only just listed them essentially, and they're already basically going to end. Now, realistically, under normal circumstances, this doesn't make sense. There'd be no reason to do this. Simply because if you relist items, you're going to start to not even profit, because you're going to lose money through taxes. But then without fail, for items that have been relisted multiple times, for instance this hoe, which is never going to sell, it's been relisted for a lower price, and also the duration of the auction has been increased to 6 hours. And that is pretty consistent if you look through his auctions. Now, something else that is interesting is there are actually some items that he just has in his inventory. And I assume, well, I don't assume, these are items that have got gemstones in them. So they require human interaction in order to profit. Of course, when I've actually looked at how much he's bought this Fermento helmet for, if it didn't have this gemstone slot unlocked with the flawless in it, then it wouldn't be profit. There'd be no point in buying it. He bought it for 27 mil, and the lowest bin for this exact helmet without the flawless in is 27 mil. But because it's got the flawless in, it requires, you know, actual some form of actual manual input to take the gemstone out, so that can be sold separately, and then the helmet can be sold on, you know, once again. And then you profit from the gemstone. And the same, I assume, will apply with this helmet. It's got 2 perfects in it, and I assume that this has been sniped probably at a similar price to the regular pieces of Sorrow or Jaded Sorrow, and whoever sold it has just simply not either been too lazy or not realised that it's got perfects in it. It makes sense that the bone die is still in his inventory because it's pretty much impossible to price, considering there's never a bone die listed on the auction house. And of course, how would you price an item, you know, based off other sales? Now, something else that is very apparent is, well, I know this for a fact, is that basically when you AH flip, you become accustomed to certain items. Certain items work well for you, so you tend to stick to them. Sure, you might differentiate a little bit. However, there is literally no pattern at all to what is flipped. It's completely random. Anything from crappy chest plates to ember boots, phantom rod, bat person talisman, personal compactor, aurora staff, yeah, it's very difficult to be in so many places at one time. Anyway, we see once again that tarantula helmet that I was talking about. It ended, and it was relisted not long after, for another hour. Now, I knew that was going to happen. I didn't say it, but I knew it was going to happen. I almost said, watch him relist it. Well, this just happened in the last couple of minutes, and my dude has not moved, and he's not here. And yeah, there was not really much consideration. They dropped the die at 1:54 PM and sold it at 3:08, so they took about an hour and 12 minutes to consider their options. Anyway, I'd love to know your thoughts on what is going on here in the comments. But anyway, that is the end of today's video. If you did enjoy, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.